Hey there, knife fans. Love Them Knives channel. LTK here. We've gone cold. Cold steel. And this is the Code 4 model. And it's made in Taiwan. And it has ambidextrous thumb studs. The triad lock, which is the ever dangerous, infamous triad lock. This one works really good. Actually, it disengages really well. So, as much as I kind of bitched at the triad lock the other day saying, it's kind of a pain in the butt, this one's really not. So I guess those of you who are saying, hey, give it time, it'll get easier to disengage. It won't be so stiff and so nasty. Okay. This one, you're right. And this is a knife that I traded for with my buddy Harry. And I can't remember what I sent him. I sent him a bunch of stuff and he sent me a bunch of stuff. So we did some swapping. This has got an aluminum scales on it. And no, this is not the XHP steel blade. No, this is the AUS 8. This is old school, baby. They don't make these anymore. So I know it's a collectible now to be cherished. And it doesn't look like it's really gone through a whole lot of use, but it looks like, you got some little pocket clip scars here. Pocket clip, well, it's there. And it's not, doesn't look like it's too intrusive. And it looks like you can go right hand, left hand, tip up, carry. So that's not bad. I'm wondering if there was how this translates on this. I'm trying to do my cipher, and there should have been maybe a different pocket clip because I'm trying to figure out this curves on a contour here. So if that flips, it's going to curve that way, right? So did they send two pocket clips? I know the Hogue knives are like that. The Hogue X5, they send you two pocket clips. So don't know. I didn't get one. So but I'm right hand tip up anyhow. So I'm good to go. Nice. Code 4, I guess they were trying to say law enforcement, first responder type thing. It's light. It's slim. It's easy carry. It's got a tough lock on it. And it's a blade configuration that's a good all-purpose type of delivery system. You're going to have some more meat here for piercing because of this kind of modified drop point style blade. I would think, I don't know, just me, but I would think if I was making a knife for first responder, I might want more traction on this. This is really slick. This is really smooth. But I guess if you had gloves, then it really wouldn't matter that much. And you've got real good areas to connect here with the scales. So, but wow, that just seems awful slick. I would think maybe you'd want, cold steel, they use that grivery and stuff all the time. Come here. Like this kind of stuff, And that would be more traction, you'd think, than this. But what the hell do I know? What the hell do I know? So this is old school stuff. I think that's the actual model number of the AUS 8 one here. So it's a 58 TPC, 3.5 inch aluminum handle, blah, blah, blah. And I think in one of these blurbs, this page, the only reason it's like discontinued. But, and you might be able to pick one up on, the odd auction here or there, secondary market, that kind of thing, if you really want AUS 8. And hopefully it would be somewhat less expensive than the CTS XHP. But what I'm looking at, it doesn't look like it's a lot different in price, but from what it was in the day. But, you know, they're saying here, you know, Code Ford series, you know, dependability, you know, that kind of thing for, well, law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're not really saying they made it for that. They're just saying this is what they've heard from people and first responders, that they this is what they're looking for in a knife. Light, easy to carry, slender profile. And this kind of gives you the situation here. Made in Taiwan, of course. 8.5 overall, 4.3 ounces, and a clip point. What I call it? Modified drop point. Whoops. Yeah, you're right. It's clip point. In any case. But yeah, I don't mind the lock on this so much. I guess it's kind of been broke in a little bit. 4.3 ounces, so that's not bad. 121 grams. So I imagine the XHP would be pretty much the same as this. I haven't had one in my hands, but other than the blade material, and you know, this kind of really breaks free. It does. I don't want to swing it too hard or it'll swing under here and make contact. No, like that. It just about did. So we won't do that again. I'm just over the last cut that I got on my thumb. So nah, we don't need to do that. And so we've got kind of a closed situation here. Of course, you got the lock bar. Then you've got the back spacer. You do have a lanyard hole, which is nice. And it looks to be enclosed inside that back spacer. And there you go. I mean, it's slender. Yeah, like that. About not even quite 9 millimeters thick, which ain't much. Come on, flip to inches. Wow, yeah. It's not even 4/10 of an inch. 0.35. That's really, really slender. Maybe a little bit. I kind of like a little bit more in my hands, but so, I don't know. Maybe not quite thick enough for me, although it's a very slender carry. 0.133, so that might probably be about 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 millimeter thick stock. So the stock itself is nice. You know, it's heavy enough. But this here is definitely a slender carry. And 4.5 ounces, 4.3, whatever we got, you know, that's fairly light as well for a good sized knife. Because you got 3.5-inch blade. That's what they're saying. There you go. And on my books, it looks like 3 5/8. I mean, to the scale, I mean, actual usable cutting edge at about 3 3/8. So it's a little over 9 centimeters for the blade length and 8.5 inches overall with about 21.5 centimeters. Yeah, so what do we got? Do we have something we can kind of compare it to? Well, here's our counterpoint. And it's about the same size as the counterpoint 1. A little bit shorter, but you know, if you go pivot to pivot, the blade length's about the same. I reckon I know why too. Probably because the counterpoint is about 3 3/4. So it's a little bit longer blade here than that. But you know, it's a reasonable size carry knife. As opposed to our predecessor on the channel here, the Sage 3, which is a much smaller knife. Now if you go pivot to pivot here, then you'll see you got 3.5 or 3 5/8 to a full, just a 3-inch. So that's how that compares. But really in the hand, this is good. it's, I don't know, maybe a little bit more width on here. But, you know, I can understand maybe some of the idea of if you're trying to have this as an all-day carry knife and you've got enough gear on you anyhow, if you're law enforcement, etc., maybe you do need, you know, a little vest pocket where you can slide it in and it doesn't have that width, that thickness, you know. And it does make sense. Then when you come to this, I don't know. I don't know if I get this. Although I like the look of it and stuff as nice, sleek EDC carry knife, because most of the times that's enough. I mean, you got kind of enough purchase on this to where I don't know that the grip makes a lot of difference. I mean, you've got some traction here anyhow. But first responder, I don't know. I think I'd want a G10 or some real grippy pattern in here. Just saying. In any case, it's a code 4, folks, and it looks slick. I think it does. I mean, just look at that. I mean, it's kind of a real slick looking knife. I like it. It's one of my favorite cold steel designs because it's just a very practical, but there's something about this that I like, this whole layout. I like clip point. I like modified drop point. I like that kind of thing. Anyhow, buoy style. And this particular lock drops well. And it just feels solid. They do feel solid. And I know some of you cold steel lovers are going, yeah, they're a solid knife though. And they are. They are a solid knife. You have to give them that. And that lock, it ain't gonna fail. It's not exactly a toy, you know what I mean? And you go, well, if you want a toy, get yourself a spinner, you know? I get that. But, yeah, I mean, I see the point. I do. And this one really is a great knife. I like the design. I really do. I like it more than I like a lot of the cold steel designs. I think they really hit a good one here. This would be fun in the CTS XHP too. But this is the AUS 8. And you know, it's sharp enough. I don't know if Harry used this much or if this has, yeah, well, it's still got a good working edge on it. So yeah, it's still reasonably sharp. And you know, AUS 8, say what you want, but it sharpens up to a very, very sharp edge. It's pretty non-corrosive. It's fairly easy to restrope and sharpen back out to a really sharp edge. So it's a very usable steel in that regard. Yeah. So, you know, that's why cold steel's used AUS 8 for a long, long time in a lot of models of their knives. All right. Hey, say what you will. It's the code 4. I like the design a lot. And I think it's a good looking knife. Slim, easy to carry. Hey, and you know what we do? We love them knives. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.